Another big news day here in CS as we take a look at FalleN stepping down from MiBR following MiBR parting ways with Fur, Taco, and Dead. And then finally, our good friend KNG speaking out against Guales about turning the fan base against MiBR. What happened? Okay. Valda just said, or I think Pasha also just said on Reddit, to sum up the thoughts of everybody, MiBR reminds me of some team, obviously in reference to Virtus Pro. This is, of course, the implosion of MiBR following some awful results as soon as they went over to Europe. Dramas with Fur having racism moments on stream, maybe Taco's underperformances, Dead using the coaching bug, the way that they dealt with their clash with Furia at Blast, where or like a few months ago, where they wanted to restart a round, and then they were both trying to something that whole spat about fair play. I'm sure you know it. There's just been a litany of things that have happened in the past few months that have resulted in a lot of negative PR for MiBR, and then ultimately that's followed into a player break, and then this move to Europe to play in Europe, probably to get better practice to participate in some other tournaments, and then just a series of losses versus teams that they should beat. Let's take a look at what some of those teams are. Gambit Youngsters, Apex, Copenhagen Flames. They beat Apex. They lost Copenhagen Flames twice in 2 BO3s here. They were able to beat Singularity. This is the second loss to them. They lost to Galaxy Racer. They lost to Pack in the best of one. They got smacked by Mad Lions. They lost to Gambit Youngsters once just here. And it started here with the Wisla Krakow match where everyone was like, what is going on? And it's not been a really good showing recently for MiBR as a team. And I want to say just to extend some kind of olive branch here, that of course, some of this may very well have to do with the amount of hate and negative PR that has come. And I think that it's fair to both argue that they have asked for a lot of it by the way they've dealt with the situations publicly, as well as, this is just what happens when you are faced with so much backlash and hate constantly. There's going to be some, dissent within the team and organization, vitriol towards each other, discomfort, unhappiness playing. Like, it's probably horrible. It's probably horrible, and I'm sure they have some regrets about the way they've handled some stuff, and I'm sure they're also just currently upset about the way things are being handled right now. MiBR dropping for Taco and Dead. Does this make sense? Well, Dead used the coaching bug, so that makes sense. Fur and Taco, I think, let's see, as reported, Taco said that the decision was made exclusively by the organization, and then he's looking forward to seeing what happens further in his career. Let's just pull up Taco's profile really quick here. And originally, as reported, FalleN and Fur would be splitting after being on the same team since 2014, which is a huge rift in the Brazilian scene, with two players who are two of the best players to come out of Brazil, two of the most impactful players to come out of Brazil, and presumably two of the best friends to come out of Brazil that have now split up as well. So this is the thing. MiBR, since forming, have won the Zotac Cup Masters 2008 Grand Finals. I actually casted this was in Hong Kong, and that's the only thing that they've won. So that's the last title that they've won. Besides, they won the Blast Americas Showdown tournament, I believe. That was it. So it's just not been really good. I actually haven't seen this. We are living in the moments most important by MiBR and MiBR fans to make some changes, adjustments to the roster. Okay, so this was originally it. So this is what they said, and then FalleN said, no, I don't agree with this. I'm leaving the team as well. So let's read FalleN's tweet longer here. Just over 2 years ago, we were presented in Sao Paulo with the new lineup of MiBR, formed to continue the history of the group that one day formed LG/SK. Between the ups and downs, mistakes and hits, the results achieved were not as desired by me, the current group, or the other players who have integrated our team during this period. As a team, we fight, persist, and dedicate ourselves. At times, there was a little missing. At other times, there was much missing. Together, we tried to win glories. At this moment, more than ever, I need to be faithful to my values and heart and close this chapter of this beautiful story. And with regards to the friends who never left us, I communicate my insatisfaction with MiBR in front of the decision to completely overhaul the lineup which I choose to play for. We enter as a team, and we will leave, as we will follow day after day, side by side, motivated by the real passion for playing, every morning waking up imbued with the mission of overcoming ourselves to seek to be better. My entire career and relationship with the Twist has been guided by the transparency of my actions, and won't be at fault for now. I'm not satisfied with the recent decision. Last weeks have been tough and challenging. That's why I'm asking to leave the active roster while I think on my next steps. This time will be necessary to find my essence and return to the peace I decide my path while I accomplish my contractual obligations. That's important. The only thing I'm sure is this isn't where the game ends for me. I'm convinced everything I have learned during this time, everything I believe has made me strong enough to accept new challenges imposed by this moment, however difficult it may seem. In esport, as in life, there is no guarantees, only challenges, and only giving ourselves to them will we find out how far we can get. I leave here my immense thanks to MiBR for having believed in our team, for the opportunities and investments made, to the teammates and others who have played with us. My respect and thanks for the days of learning we had together. And with great pride, I also thank the Brazilian fans who built this story with us. It is love of the fans that inspire me and makes us believe that the best is yet to come. With open arms, I look for the next chapters. Until the next game. FalleN, I think if a reputation means anything, we know that FalleN has been a class act by and large. Everyone has missteps, but by and large, FalleN has been a class act. One of the best things to come out of Counter-Strike, not just Brazil, has put the country on its back, has popularized the game, has achieved so much there. Has probably, it's probably the reason that so many other pro players are playing is because of FalleN and FalleN's impact. It does feel like Virtus Pro in that sense, right? There's just, but even more so, like the impact that FalleN has had on Brazil feels like more than the impact that Virtus Pro had on Poland. There's so much more player development come out of Brazil. I feel like FalleN has had a heavier hand in Brazil than Virtus Pro did in Poland in terms of bringing up people, the amount of teams to come out of the region. I mean, not all of it is because of FalleN, but I'm sure a lot of it is. So there is a lot here to credit towards FalleN, and I want to personally say I think that he has by and large been a class act and been a good thing to come out of Brazil, and has had extraordinary impact along with winning just straight up 2 majors. So what happens now? Well, I think what I could understand removing Taco on purely impact alone. Like if you don't feel like you can win, you have a team that's good, but 4 out of 5 are really good, and Taco just is really struggling. I think then that can be the reason why you lose. In reality, on this team right now, there are a couple of things in terms of performance that stand out the most. FalleN has actually not been at that bad, and this year he actually had one of his best years. So he actually had a rise in form, almost 0.20 here on the HLTV overall rating, up until the player break, and then dipped down pretty drastically following kind of all the recent string of results. But overall, I mean, I don't see him contributing to a lot of these losses, honestly. He's actually, I think, done well enough, or quite well. Sported some of his highest ratings in recent memory. Yes, he's been a bit inconsistent, but everybody has... it doesn't feel like an individual performance thing at this moment. So now looking at Fur, this is updated a bit, so he's dropping down quite a bit now. But yeah, he was relatively consistent, and I would say Fur among one of two players who have been relatively consistent on MiBR at the moment. Here is the other one in KNG. He's kind of tapered off, but leveled off at a decent place. And so it's kind of hard to say like who actually deserves to go based on what we've seen. And I think a lot of people also question MiBR's calling. I think that is a big thing that comes into question, and something that I would like to talk about and look more into in the future. My personal take is that when I cast MiBR, I see a team that is actually incredibly hard to read at times. Honestly, I still believe in FalleN's calling. I know that sounds crazy. I think that's a hot take. The only times that I see that MiBR look bad is when it looks like FalleN is not calling anything. That's something that actually I feel like happens. It feels like in some rounds, there are moments where it feels like there isn't a good call being made at all. And they do something like some kind of default that isn't like maybe well drilled. It's like a mixed bag of if FalleN wants to, he can call a really strong game. If he doesn't want to, then they can really look like they can really turn their brains off and look like they're phoning it in completely. And I think that's an important distinction to be made. I'm sure that if you asked players, they would say that playing against MiBR is very difficult, and especially against some of the top teams where I think they'd actually do better. I think the reason that FalleN can call better is because he needs to do less preparation. And that's my read on the situation, that because FalleN would have to do less preparation versus better teams, he can call a more interesting, a more compelling game plan than he can versus, for example, Bow, Transition, Gambit Youngsters. Now, we are going to look at this game. FalleN here is on 1280 by 960. Stretched. Okay. 400 DPI, 2.2 sensitivity. And in this map, he had a 180R CT side. And I wanted to just talk about... oh, shoot. He's actually going to be playing the T side on this one. Okay. He had a 180R CT side, and I want to know, you know, what's he looking like in general? Like, how good does he seem to be as a player at the moment? How comfortable is he? And how does he stack up versus a team like Gambit Youngsters, who are in the same vein of these teams that have been beating him recently? Teams they don't play a lot, teams in Europe, teams with young players. And, you know, how does that maybe help explain what's happened here in this kind of like downfall of MiBR that we're witnessing? FalleN as an opper, I think as an individual right now is also worth believing in. I really don't think it's an enormous form thing with him. I think generally speaking, his recent results have been pretty good as an individual, and I think they could survive. They could do well with his abilities as they stand. I don't think he's fallen off to the point that because people bring up that he should be coaching. To me, that just sounds, I don't think that would make sense. Like, I don't think if he heard that, he'd be like, yeah, I agree with that. I'm just like, it's true. Like, I'm not that good anymore. I think FalleN could definitely still hang with the best. I really don't believe that. Like, it's time to coach. I think IGL, it's not like there are IGLs all over the place at the moment. Like, you could be a pretty bad fragging IGL and still get a ton of money. And FalleN is not even a bad fragging IGL. He's the opper IGL. At his prime, he was a star player. At his prime, he was the best player in the world. When they were winning majors, he was the best player in the world. So I think it'll take a lot before FalleN tries to do something like, for example, retire or become a coach. I don't think that is a reasonable thing to suggest, in my opinion. I think people might be frustrated with the recent results at MiBR, as I'm sure he is as well. But the concept of retirement at this point doesn't seem to make sense to me. I think he would have to fall off quite a bit more, in my opinion. You know, Zeus as an individual could not hang. You know, players like Gabi, Zeus, Blade, you know, these are players that you could see the brain is still going, but the mechanics just maybe aren't there. They can't keep up with the best of the best on a consistent level. That makes sense. Go into coaching, help out in other ways, management, whatever it is. But I don't think FalleN is in that class of IGL. And I think that, you know, it's probably more of a potential motivation thing than it is motivation thing, clarity thing, because of all of the extenuating circumstances, than it is a situation where he's just not simply capable. I don't believe that personally. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but I don't believe it. We'll see. Lots of pistols so far this half. Reach out and trade. Okay. Way to throw that smoke, actually. Good tracking on that frag. Blink it, you miss it. Oh, that was annoying. He's just crouched down, baited the spray out, and crouched up instantly and completed the frag. That was nice. Like, that was good. I mean, mechanics-wise, that was really good, right? Both kills. The tracking on the first frag. The way he dragged out the shot on the second. Spray control was fine. As far as I'm concerned, tracking is more impressive than flick shots. Every single time. And I wonder if he actually rifles all half here, because we got Fur, who's KNG opping B, and Fur is opping at A. I don't know. I guess he was going to get rifled and pit on this round because they had best spawn, but does this AK get traded out is a question. FalleN going for the patrol approach. I personally don't love doing this just because there's like always small gaps in information, but it's kind of at some point the best you can do. You gotta hope you get the information. There might be a small gap, but it's unlikely you miss something, and it gives you the chance to peek and unpeek constantly, which constantly gives you the peeker's advantage, of course. It's also interesting to see the way he was peeking the box. On the left side, he peeks if they come out. On the right, he can peek if he missed it. Left, he peeks if they come out. Right, he can peek if he missed it. The only time it would be a bit off is if they had crossed, then he peeks right, and they're a bit wider than he expected. Mother for the cross, falling back on the op, holding on to long, and here it is. I think this is what, you know. Oh shit, there's somebody here waiting to turn the corner, and FalleN, he's aware of it. His teammate is on the ramp, but not aware of it at all. I feel like FalleN is more aware of this than Fur is. So that's a bit weird, but he doesn't turn the corner, actually. Gambit youngsters, bit of indecision here. They should not really be hanging out and waiting in this situation. Yeah, I assume Gambit youngsters end up losing this round. You never want to see a cat take fall off like this, because this is what happens. The op can come back into play. You gave him enough time that there's no flashbangs. Nafany has two. He's not using them. But yeah, it's all about flashing the op off the corner and then rushing it down on this strategy. And here they wanted to finally come out with that late lurk, but it seems like they're in territory where they just get picked apart at this point. We shall see. Only person to do damage to FalleN is for himself. First hits and leaving the team. Boom. Headshot. Oh, fuck me. Oh, God. Okay. That sucks. Shit. I accidentally skipped forward in the demo. That's a big oof by me. Oh, good God. Oh, my God. What have I done? I'm going to go skip back. Oh my god. I really messed that up. Round 23, we watched what, 4 rounds. Okay. This isn't so bad actually. Oh, this is bad. Nothing to see here. Yeah. Launders, when are you going to start using ESCA refrag? I know. Don't make a big scene. Round 20. Should be good. Falling back on the op. This is a replay of that one. No, they're just going to be on clocks. I'm going to skip forward. Okay, we're out the gate. No big deal. Oh, now that's how you fast cat. See, that's that experience. All the hours coming into play. That was actually the sickest fast cat I've ever seen. That was a good way to do that. V-hop off the box, off the ledge. That is fast. And seriously, fast cats, the faster they get, the better they get. People mess up fast cats in pro matches all the time. I always do the safe version that's quick but safe. Where you run back behind this. Okay, I'm just going to do it here. You run back here, you get on this box, you hop on the head, you go up top. But the way FalleN did it, that was sick and super quick. Alright, so this round is done. They lost their 2B and they played a 3-2 setup on the... Why are there 2 ops on this site? What the hell? Okay. Strange Molotov there, actually. Gets caught with smoke, but not completely extinguished. The default's full on. And this is a game I think it might be our lose. But FalleN still pulls 100 ADR this half, so just curious from that perspective. This is kind of an interest. I don't think we've watched a demo like that. Like a good half and a losing game, and a losing half even. We did watch Blame F play a game where they lost. We had a good half in the first half. All right, so the A split is on. Perfect. Let's see what happens. This time it's 3 towards FalleN, so yeah, lots of pressure. And he actually does that jump to bait them into like running into the flash, which could be a huge bit of delay. But he doesn't make it around the corner. His teammate ends up dying. And there, if he had made it around the corner, he'd be in a pretty good spot. But TRK does work. And Gambit youngsters win the 2v2 on the retaking players. Okay. A hold, yeah. It wasn't so bad. He got the opening kill. They actually got 3 kills on A. So not such a bad situation. And this is where you flash cat for this beef, but they don't flash it, so it's a free kill. It costs you nothing, like... Especially in a default like that, they should be flashing. They should be flashing the cat peek because it's not like going to be a surprise that someone's in lower. They're not going to call, oh, 1 lower at a minute 30, standing on the other side of mid double doors. So Gambit youngsters kind of just like threw them an opening kill here. Just a slightly deeper grenade. It's not quite on. FalleN has some of the best flashbang statistics and just utility statistics in the game. Some of his biggest tournaments, he's always had highest effective flashes. And some of the highest HE damage. Flusha, FalleN, and then like everyone on Astralis is usually how it goes. Not necessarily in that order. Flash to clear out cat, and then it's actually just a rotate over, but they get caught on the B split once again. So maybe just hanging out too long there. Not. Oh, it's a 5v4 round after. No one to even help out. A boost on the box and spawn. Someone playing mid there, 2-1-2, 4v4 would have made sense, but they decided to 3-2. And another situation where KNG is over here on the A site. We didn't watch that round already, did we? Very strange game. KNG mid-side hopping. And youngsters, I mean, they're playing pragmatic CS here. They've had a lot of success towards B, so now they're just hitting B with different looks. Look at that kill through the door into mid, and that is round over. Cat player is going to jump off in a spawn, maybe. Actually, just takes his time, actually. And there it is. I think the spawn drop comes in, yeah, and not even a trade. Wow, look at Axel, super quick. We watched him yesterday in this same series on Mirage. Pretty nut shot by Axel. Glaive actually tweeted out, what do you think is causing, like, how long do you think players can stay good? This kind of question. I personally think, like, age just doesn't really matter yet. But it's more so, like, how much do you want to play? I think the number one hardest thing, right? Okay. Well, there's another shot. FalleN having impact every single time they come to his side so far. Whether it's a kill or 2 kills. And it should be enough to win the retake. You assume here that MiBR, yeah, they will not lose that. And for me, I think that the only thing that changes is how much motivation you have to play, or the responsibilities of your real life changing as you get older. But oh my, like, look at that. I mean, his reactions are crazy. If you can hit a shot like that, you don't really have to be like, oh, my reaction's good. Like, my reaction time has only gotten better, and I'm 30 now. My reaction times have only gotten better. I don't think reactions are anywhere close to changing. You see FalleN hit that shot, it's like, well, what's the difference between that and 2016? Like, this game is not all about reactions. You just need a baseline, and then from there, like, it's virtually indiscernible between top players. I mean, there's some times where reactions can matter, but it's just not a defining thing. It's just not a defining thing. There's just too many other things that go into the game that matter so much more. What I think the number one difficult thing is, so the players that play the longest are probably the ones who achieve the most, right? Like, if you don't cheat a lot, you don't just play until you're 30-something. But the players who have achieved the most might have the hardest time being motivated to wake up every day to try hard to win against, you know, these up-and-coming 16-year-olds. Does that make sense? That's how I see, that's what I see the real challenge is for the players who grow older. It's like FalleN's already won 2 majors. How much work is he willing to put in to get back to that point? That's what I personally feel like is the biggest and most pertinent issue for FalleN. And I don't know if that's even true. Like, he seems to be motivated based on what we've seen here in his twit longer. He seems to just be very excited to continue playing, and he's not satisfied about things, and he's, you know, he's fighting back. He's not just collecting a check and letting things ride out. He left in solidarity. You know, these are big moves that he's making, and he's clearly established that he's not done, which is great. I mean, it's still maybe true or whatever. I don't understand what this is about. So said, I hope it looks good, and then KNG says people like the team doesn't play well for 1 month, and that, so it basically I think KNG is saying, like, the team has not been that bad, it's just been a month. You never thought of us as human being. I mean, I don't know what he's inferring here. This, like, I feel, you know, like has Gualis really been against MiBR and all of this? Like, how are you gonna how are players turning on Gualis at this point? I mean, that just seems crazy to me. I don't I don't know, but this may be just a, this like kind of impulsive take is exactly what MIBR do not need at this point. That's I feel like that's just crazy. Like, anyways, I don't know exactly what the inference is, but yeah, that's not good, man. KNG, very good player, a very consistent recently, but of course, I want to say that part of the reason that things have started to go south here for MIBR is because of the PR and the reactions to events, as well as the general PR towards the team, some of the team dramas and stuff, and how they respond to it and how they've stoked that flame, how they've dealt with it has only made it worse for them. I think there's responsibility in both directions in some of these situations, and I think responses like that are directly responsible for some of the downfall of MIBR, if you will, some of the negative performances, or just everything going wrong with the team. So I would love your guys' thoughts on what you think on things that I said, and how you feel about MIBR as a team, and what you think about FalleN. And yeah, let me know. This is just one of those videos where I just kind of like talk a lot because there's a bunch of news. But never a dull day in Counter-Strike, huh? Never a dull day in Counter-Strike. Well, that's it for that. If you have player suggestions, I'm never going to upload in the middle of the night, by the way. I get like no comments on the videos when I upload at midnight. Big mistake by me. I'll keep these up going at the same time for this weekend and this weekend as well. Learned a lot this weekend about that. And so, yeah. So hit me back and let me know what you want to see next. Thank you guys, everyone, for watching. Thanks for the comments and suggestions. And as always, hit me up on Twitter. And I am live on Twitch. Right, meow. Twitch.tv/Launders. Peace out, everybody. See you tomorrow.